Hey everybody, Invisiblekatana here. Doing a little story time episode for my most recent adventure at my convention, which was Youmacon 2016. Go every year, always have some random video. I didn't film this year just like I didn't last year, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's always because I end up working out at work this year again like I did last time, so it was such a weird frame. Like on Friday, I didn't actually experience the convention until like 6 p.m. because I actually had to get up super early to help the vendor guy that I work with. I had to help him set up early in the morning because he wasn't able to make it on Thursday, which is like the normal setup date for dealers and stuff. So the whole plan was to help him on Thursday, and then I'd be good for Friday, but because he didn't make it into town, I didn't end up going until like Friday morning. I think I got up at like 9 or something like that, and so I ended up getting there around 10, and so I helped him from like 10 to 2, and then I left because I was like, oh, we'll be finished in a little bit of time and stuff. So I just got up and left. Like, I didn't even shower or anything because I'm like, plus I knew I'd be like sweating and stuff. I was like, there would be no point in me showering early and stuff and then sweating like crazy, lifting things all over the place. So I was like, I won't pack anything or do any of that. I'm just gonna go ahead, I'll get up and go. I'll leave all my stuff at the house because I had to wait for my friends because I did stay there this year like I did last time. But we went through and I was like, I'm starving. I was starving when I left, so I came back, I showered, I ate some food, and then I was like, holy crap. It was like, it seemed like 4 hours passed just for me getting to the house, for me taking a shower and eating. It was almost like 2 hours. I was like, how in the world did this take so long? But it was crazy. I didn't get back until about 6 p.m. or something like that. So I missed a couple panels that I wanted to see, but it was still fine on Friday, and I got my couple of pictures. All the pictures, by the way, are up on the Facebook page, so you can just check the link in the description for that. This is mostly just for stories, and I got like my 2 things that I actually got from the convention because I didn't really buy anything this year. But I had a good time. I went through, saw my couple of panels, saw a really good Resident Evil panel because I love Resident Evil, so I was like, I got to see that. I certainly enjoyed that. It was kind of just like a history, and it was just like, we just talk about Resident Evil, and it's super fun because Resident Evil is my favorite franchise. So I was like hearing other people's experience with it and why certain games are their favorite. And I think one of my favorite parts was us talking about Resident Evil 7 because it's like it's so different from the other games. How's everybody feeling about it? So it was cool to kind of get that experience. That was nice. Saw a couple other panels. It was just jumping around. I remember only like 3 or 4 panels that I even saw, but I had a good time with it. It was definitely fun. Played the crap out of some Pokemon Go while I was there because it was downtown Detroit. So at the Renaissance Center, there were just a bunch of people using lures. For those of you don't play Pokemon Go, basically it was attracting all the Pokemon. So I got like 5 new Pokemon just going from that because I was catching stuff that I'd never see. I got like Magnetites, and I got enough Tentacool to get an evolution for that, and Slowpoke. I got a bunch of extra Magikarp, which is good because I need 400 for that. And I walked quite a bit, so I was getting a ton of candies for it as well, since you only have to walk 1K to get a candy for a Magikarp. But it was good. It was nice. I got a bunch of those evolutions, and had fun with that, and stood around, saw a bunch of great cosplays. Then I got my couple of items. So these I actually haven't taken any pictures of, but I got a it's called a PX Previews exclusive Flash figure. This is actually for my little cousin because he likes the Flash, and it was his birthday was on October 27th. So I was like, well, I didn't get him a gift, so I asked him, who his favorite hero was. I was surprised he said Flash. I was like, holy crap! I thought he was gonna say like Ninjago or something, because that's all they talk about is Ninjago or Ninja Turtles. I was like, it's gonna be one of those two, and he was like, the Flash. I was like, oh, okay, I like the Flash too. So I got him that, and I actually got a cool mask that I got from the vendor that I worked for, which I have to take my hat off and show my really nappy hair. But I got a pretty cool Deadpool mask. So this I think is pretty cool. It's insanely weird on my eyes because my eyelashes are like so incredibly long. So it's just like pressed up right against me. But I like this. He had 2 types of masks. He had this, and then there was one with a zipper in the back. But I like this one because it's like full cotton. Ow, hit my head. But I like that one. And my head's on backwards actually. But I like this because it's like full cotton and it's just a pull down mask, which I kind of like this. I think they look a little bit better. I couldn't even tell if that was on straight. I think it was, so hopefully it was. I'll have to look at that. But that's really it. I got those two things. I got a t-shirt from T-Turtle, which is like the people I always get t-shirts from. And it was a shirt for Supernatural, and that was it. I was like, I tend to get at least one t-shirt at every convention, and that was actually a brand new one that I hadn't seen from them. So I was like, okay, that one I want, because I love Supernatural. It's actually my favorite TV show, so I was like, well, it's Supernatural. It was a simple shirt, and it was just it was just Sam and Dean. So I was like, yeah, I'll get that. And that was really it. I was like, I bought that, and I bought that for my cousin, and I got that for the Deadpool mask I actually got for free from the guy I worked for. So that was cool, and that was really it. I was like, I don't have any money because I just got my new car, so I went in there with like $100, and that was about it. So got my couple of little things, or my one thing for me, and then the one thing for my cousin. But still a good time. Of course, see a bunch of great cosplays, go to some cool panels. It was fun. It was fun. Like I said, all the pictures are on Facebook. If you happen to go to Youmacon, I definitely want to know your experience. For anyone who, of course, might randomly be checking this out. But I had a good time with it. My friends and I, this is the only crappy thing that happened. Even outside of, not really experiencing much, as much of Friday as I would have liked to, on Saturday, my friends and I, because we have a little production company, we were going to do some videos. And unfortunately, neither of them could make it, so I couldn't get the stuff that I wanted. Like, I got some random footage, but we were going to do, like, interviews, and I was going to interview, like, my friends because they were cosplaying and stuff while we were there. And we were going to do, like, a couple of different videos, at least 2 videos. We were going to have, like, interviews and do, like, a little music thing. And I was like, man, that really sucked because I was super excited to do that. I've always wanted to make, like the videos I always see from Youmacon where it's just cool footage and stuff of cosplays, and it's just a random song on top. It's kind of the generic convention video, but they always look really cool. It's just very simple. You just move around and then you add it to the music. It's about as simple as it gets, but I tell the people watch it because it's that simple sort of thing that works. It always looks good. So I was really excited to do that, and sadly we couldn't because neither of them could make it. One of my friends, he had to work, and the other, she had to help her mom because they were moving. So I was like, that sucks, and she couldn't. Things were, the timing was different than she expected, so she couldn't make it down. I was like, that sucks. I got like some random footage and stuff, but it's not enough to make a video out of. Not really. So I was like, that sucks. It's just pictures again. So that was like the biggest disappointment for me. I was like, man, that really blows. But I had a good time. I won like a ton of candy. I was winning candy and a bunch of random stuff. Didn't win any big prizes. I went to a really cool panel, which is it was like a video game family feud thing, and they gave away a Nintendo Switch. Like, the person that won, they're like, hey, we'll get your info, and then we'll buy you a Nintendo Switch because you won. So he won that. I was like, man, I should have came here. I went to like a different panel, and I won some candy. I was like, man, I should have came here first. But it was still fun. I enjoyed just watching it in general. It was still entertaining, but I had a good time as usual. Saw some great cosplays. The weather, for those of you who don't live in Michigan or don't have like northern winters, it was phenomenal this year because every year, especially with it being, either typically it's the last weekend of October, it's typically on Halloween weekend, but this was the first time they did it. It was the first weekend of November, and I think it was because daylight savings time, so on Saturday it gives them an extra hour for the convention. I think that's why they moved it an extra week, but it was great. I was like, holy crap. I think I wore, for 2 of the days I had a long sleeve shirt, but I think it was Sunday I had my t-shirt on, and I was like, I'll have to wear my jacket because I'm going to get cold, and I was sweating like crazy. I was like, it's really hot, so I was able to take my jacket off, and I was just walking around in a t-shirt, and I was like, this is amazing. It was cold at night, of course, because it's right off the water, so it gets much colder at night, but during the rest of the day I was like, this is amazing. Like, it's not freezing cold. Like, my hands would be freezing normally, and excuse me, I would just be like, man, I feel so bad for people in like cosplays where they do like, like Devil May Cry, where it's like Devil May Cry 3 and he just has a jacket and no shirt on. And I'm like, those people have to be so cold. But it was much warmer. I'm sure they were still cold at night, but during the day I was like, this is just the best weather ever. It was so warm on that weekend. It was just like, this is great, because normally it's freezing cold. I just dread walking back and forth because it's set in 2 different buildings. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, every year it's just like, it's so cold walking back and forth. And it's like a solid I'd say it's about a 10-minute walk or something, you know, close to it if it's not fully 10 minutes. It's like close to a 10-minute walk. And it's just like, this, like, you just dread that walk because it's so cold. But this time, I didn't even think about it. It was just like, I wish I could get there faster because I want to see more of the panels. But I had no issues with the weather, which is a huge deal. So for those of you who might only go to conventions where it's nice and warm, not an issue, but you can imagine what it's like. Just, I only go to like 2 conventions out of the whole year, and they're done by the same people. So it's like the Youmacon people do Youmacon, and then they do the Midwest Media Expo. It's like actually during the summer. So, you know, I had that over the summer that was nice and warm like it normally is. And then we had this, and it was actually much warmer than it should be. It was just nice. I was like, man, this is actually really great. You know, I don't have to freeze to death. Even, you know, at 3 p.m. it's just like freezing cold because we're like right off the water and it's just cold. But it was actually nice and warm. It was sunny. I think last year it actually rained, at least like a little bit. It was super cold and it rained at one point. I was like, this is just terrible walking back and forth through like actual, it was like light rain, but it was just crazy. But it was really good weather, so that was just a random thing. Like I said, for people who go to conventions, it's like if you only go to like San Diego Comic Con, or you know, you only go to conventions like down south and stuff, probably not a big deal. But up here, it was just great. It was just like, wow, this is a great experience. It just made the whole convention so much better because it was warm the entire time. It wasn't freezing. It was only cold at night, and you know, like I said, we were right off the water, so that was to be expected. But rest of the day, it was nice and warm. Got to see people in cosplays. Nobody was like shivering and stuff in their cosplays. So it was nice. It was a nice con. I'm excited to go to Midwest this year. I want to do a panel. I've been wanting to do a panel for years, but I think this time I'm going to officially do a panel. And my plan, I hope that I have enough money to do this, which I should, you know, by next year. But I want to just have an action camera. I've always wanted one. I was supposed to get one when I graduated, but my mom never got it for me, so I still don't have one. But I always wanted one for the cons because whenever I go, it's like, okay, I can use this camera to take pictures, but I can use like a little action camera to just walk around and film everything. Like I could just like get a thing and just have it on my shoulder and just walk around with it, because that's what I always want, is just to film like everything that I see when I'm going through the con. But when I do it with this camera, it's a pretty heavy camera. It's like, you know, big DSLR camera, so it's good pictures, it's great pictures, but I have to go through like pictures and then I have to switch it to get the right video settings that I want, because if I just hit, you know, record, it'll be different settings than what I prefer, you know, when I'm recording. So it's like I have to switch back and forth manually between pictures and video instead of just being able to hit the button. So it's like if I could just have one for picture and then just get a little action camera right on my shoulder, just walk around, whatever it captures, that'll be it. So that's what I'm hoping for next year, just have a nice little light action camera that I can just carry around, won't bother me whatsoever, just record the whole day and just chop it up, you know, however I want to. But that's the plan. And then as far as Midwest this year or next year, I really do hope that I can set up a panel. That I would love to do a Ruby panel. That's what I've always wanted to do, was a panel for Ruby, and I just never ended up doing it. I would always talk with my friends and we'd be like, you know, that'd be a cool idea, but it would just never really come together. So I'm really going to try to do that, and I'll have a video of that if I end up doing that panel next year. But I would love to do that because it would be fun to talk about Ruby and then, you know, talk with other people about it, just like the Resident Evil panel I went to. It's like just that's pretty much what all the panels are for anyway. It's really just talking about the stuff you like. Like that's really it. So I would love to do that, and I was thinking of actually doing like an 18+ panel, just because, you know, a little bit more entertaining. But we'll see. If I'm able to do it, then I'll definitely have videos of both those panels, and I might not be able to monetize them depending on what I end up showing, but hopefully I can do that and get enough people together that I know for a fact are actually going to go. Because I'd prefer to do a panel with multiple people instead of just myself. Because I'd like to have it where multiple people can lead it into a different direction or conversation instead of it just being me. But if that's what I have to do, that's what I'm going to do. So I'll see how it plays out next year. But I had a good time with it. Like I said, for anyone who may have gone to the convention, we'd love to know how you guys felt about this year, what panels you saw that you enjoyed, if you won some prizes, what you thought of the weather. I know you know, Youmacon brings people from all over, so it's not just people from Michigan like me, but it was so different. you know, and I'm sure everyone felt that way because whether you live here or not, you know it's cold when you come to this convention. So that was really nice. That was definitely, like I said, it's a weird thing to enjoy, but when it's cold every year, you notice how warm it is. It's just like it was just nice. It was like I wasn't freezing. I was in a t-shirt. I couldn't have possibly done that without shivering. Maybe the past 3 years, like every year I've gone to it, it's been cold because it's naturally it's you know the end of October, beginning of November, so it would be. But weather was just great. So if you want to talk about that, you know, that's fine too. But I'd love to know what you thought about the convention this year. Like I said, what you won, maybe what items you guys bought from this year's convention. You know, the normal little traditions you guys have that you celebrated this year. If you just go every single year like I do, but of course, whatever you guys want to talk about, you can put that down in the comment section below. Like I said, if you want to check out all the pictures that I have, they're all on the Facebook page, which is in the description, so you can just click that and kind of scroll through it. So do that if you're interested. Maybe I got a picture of you. Maybe not. I didn't. I took a ton of pictures, but I felt like I didn't take as many as I normally do. Even though I got like, I think I have like 125 pictures, or maybe I think it's like 125 or like 162, something like that. But I still feel like that's not that much to me. For some reason, I feel like that's not as many as I normally take. I feel like I'm normally in like the 200s, which might make a lot of sense considering how much of Friday I missed. And I was just, once I finally got there, I was like, I kind of don't want to take pictures. I want to just finally experience the freaking thing because it's 6 p.m. now. So I think I'm shorter on pictures than normal, but maybe I got a picture of you, maybe not. But like I said, I want to know what you guys think, so please comment below, let me know. And of course, thanks for watching.